Hello, Tar Heel Nation. Welcome back to another episode of UNC Hoops Talk podcast. This is your host, Dan DeWitt, coming from the state of Tennessee, welcoming everybody back into the 131st episode of UNC Hoops Talk podcast. I'm glad you have decided to listen or watch this, however you're taking it in. I thank you, and we're going to jump in. A little bit of Tar Heel news and updates on the injury and stuff, the little bit we have. We'll recap the Western Carolina game briefly. Not a whole lot to say there. Jump into a preview of the big game with 20th ranked Tennessee on Sunday, and end up with a little bit of a Wofford preview before we send it off for another week. So again, I'm glad that you're here. If you have not connected with me, all the links to do that will be in the description of wherever you're watching or listening this to, and I hope that you'll do that and leave feedback or just connect with me. I love talking college basketball, and especially Tar Heel basketball, with anyone at any time. And kind of the mission of this podcast here is just to unite us as Tar Heel Nation. So I hope you'll join in helping me do that. But jumping in, a little bit of news that we have for Carolina basketball is on the injury side. Cam Johnson, no real update from the coaches or anything, but that he should be getting close to be coming back in the next week or two. Again, hopefully before ACC play. It would be great to get him a little game before the ACC, but if not, let him play in the Wake Forest game here before we get into the new year and get into the meat of ACC play. So that, and then Seventh Woods. Again, not a big update, but Roy Williams on his radio show did say that he would kind of be reevaluated in 4 weeks, and he could even be on crutches for 4 weeks. They had first kind of said just plantar fasciitis, however you say that. But now they are saying he's got a stress fracture, and so he's on crutches just to take pretty much all weight-bearing activity off of that foot for it to heal up. And as far as I know, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV or on a podcast, but I believe really all you can do for a stress fracture is give it the rest. I believe that's what Tyler Hansborough had at the beginning of his senior year. It was just kind of rest, and hopefully when you do come back, that it was enough rest that it doesn't get re-aggravated. So kind of waiting game on 7th, kind of hate it for him, but it is kind of great for the development of Jalik Felton as he kind of keeps coming along and improving, showing some good flashes, and we'll get to that as we get into the game. So injury updates there, other things going around Carolina basketball. Obviously, this big break between the Western Carolina game and the Tennessee game. Exams for the guys going on. They also, if you've been on GoHeels.com, seen or even their YouTube or Twitter, seen that they have gone shopping as they do every Christmas for underprivileged homes, and good to just see the guys in a different light, a little behind the scenes, and doing good for the community and some of those kids that really need it. So other than that, jumping into the Western Carolina game, like I said, not a whole lot to say here. Threes, kind of the story here for this game. We were 8 for 11 in the first and the second half, so 16 for 22 overall. It was tied for the most threes made in the Roy Williams era. I think it's the second most threes ever by Carolina in a game. I believe 17 they made in a previous game. I think like 95 or something. We'll go through kind of individual stats. The other thing is 31 assists on 37 made baskets. The three-pointers also set a record for best percentage ever by a Carolina team with more than 20 attempts, I think it was. Crazy kind of shooting night for them. We had 10 guys that played double-figure minutes. Again, that's without Cam Johnson, who would easily get double figures if he was healthy. Seventh Woods in a game like that would probably get the double digit. Obviously, that takes away from other people's minutes, but we easily could have played 12 guys in a big blowout, 104-61 win for the Tar Heels. First game, they got biscuits. We kind of have one good opportunity, at least outside the ACC, left in that. We'll get to that game later in this podcast. As far as individual stats, we had, let's see here, 6 guys in double figure scoring with 2 other guys that have 9. Great kind of spread there. Again, not a lot you can take from this game. Jalik Felton led us with 15 points. He also had 5 assists. Great game for Felton. Shot 5 for 8 overall, 4 for 4 shooting from the 3-point line. And then we had Kenny Williams with 13. He shot 3 for 4 from the 3-point line, 5 for 7 overall. Luke May had 12 points, 12 rebounds, keeping his, well, it hurt his average scoring wise, but keeping that double-double stuff going, keeping his rebounding average up. And then we had, let's see, who was next? Andrew Platek had 11 points. Oh, I guess Joel Berry also had 12. He would come in there next. 4 assists for Joel as well. Shot not great. He was 3 for 11 overall, 2 for 4 from the 3-point line. Pretty much everybody that attempted a 3, attempted more than 2, I should say 2 or more, and made 2 or more, except for Theo. He was 0 for 1. But Joel was 2 for 4 from behind the line. Then Andrew Platek, 11 points, 3 assists, a couple of rebounds, 3 for 5 from the 3-point line. And then we had, who did we got next? Brandon Robinson, 10 points, 2 for 2 shooting from 3 for him, 4 rebounds. Some good minutes for Brandon as well. And then Garrison Brooks, 9.7 rebounds. Good game for him. And then also Sterling Manley, 9 points, 4 rebounds. A couple of blocks for him, a couple of blocks for Huffman, who had just 4 points, but also had 8 rebounds. And then, we had, some, Theo only had 4 points, but he did have 7 assists. 3 turnovers was a little bit high for him, especially against this caliber of team. Like I said, 0 for 1 shooting from 3. But again, it was okay him taking that 3. Obviously, you're not going to get in a huge rhythm or, get on a streak like Kenny or really Joel or, hopefully that Cam will be on when he comes back, shooting 1 a game. But I was okay with him shooting the 1 he did shoot. He did pass up a couple other ones. One of them, he was pretty open, but he did kick it over to Kenny, who was even more wide open and, of course, makes more threes. So, good choice by him there. Theo's doing what Theo needs to do, and he's doing it even better now that he's not shooting as many threes. Have we seen the end of YOLO Theo? If you follow me on Twitter, I know pretty much every time he throws up a 3, I tweet out YOLO Theo. It's been a little bit hard these past few games. I've had to kind of catch up on DVR or even watch later, not live. And, of course, it doesn't make sense to be tweeting out about the game when either, the game's actually way in the second half or even over already. So I've missed that. I've missed connecting with you guys on Twitter there, of course. But we'll get back to it after the Tennessee game, because the Tennessee game I will be at. We'll, again, get into that here in a minute. But yeah, shot great. Let's see here. Percentages, we shot 64% in the first half, 51 in the second half. So we shot 57 overall from the field, 73% from the 3-point line, and then just 67% from the free throw line. We actually shot more threes than I did free throws. Again, opponent has something to do with that. We out-rebounded them 53-25. We had 13 offensive rebounds. Like I said, 31 assists on just 37 baskets. So that's a good percentage there. But yeah, that's 8 steals, 9 blocks. Again, a lot of that's going to be the opponent we play, that kind of stuff. So I don't want to spend too much time on the Western Carolina game. The Tennessee game, it'll be this Sunday. It is at Tennessee. This is a home and home we had with them. They came, remember, it was when Joel was out. They almost beat us if it wasn't for a block shot at the end of the game, I think by Tony Bradley. But it'll be a 3 p.m. Eastern tip on ESPN in Knoxville. First sellout for Tennessee at their place in 3 or 4 years. They're doing a checkered board in the crowd, so the few Carolina fans that are there, we will stick out in our blue, of course. You can look for me. I don't know where I am compared to if I'm on the bench side or from the media side, but yeah, if you're going, of course, I said last podcast, but reach out to me. I'd love to meet listeners of the podcast and meet other Tar Heel fans, of course. So let me know if you're going to be at the Tennessee game again as well, and see if we can meet up and all that good stuff. But Tennessee ranked number 20 in the past poll. Carolina moves up to number 7 in the poll, so we got number 7, number 20 coming in. It's at the Tennessee's place, of course. So that's going to give them. I haven't seen a line as far as who's favored or how many points they're given or anything like that. Yeah, so I can't really comment on that, but should be a great environment. Should be a tough environment for us. Our young bigs. Of course, I think it's their power forward. One of Tennessee's players, I think it's their power forward, grew up a big Carolina fan, all that. So we know he's going to play out because he's playing against Carolina and a higher ranked team and all that good stuff. But this will be a good test for us going on the road. We just saw, of course, what happened to Duke, opening ACC play at Boston College, a game you'd say they should win fairly easily. And of course, they drop it. They're young. It was their first true road game. They played, technically been in the away team, but it's been, at the Champions League Classic or at some exempt tournament, and haven't played at anybody's place. And they open ACC play that way, even though it's kind of a bottom feeder in the ACC. They drop it. So good test for us. Here's the thing, though. If we win, it's a good win for us. We go into somebody's place, we win. They're a ranked team. Hostile environment, that kind of stuff. If we lose, it doesn't really hurt us. Not that we won't drop in the rankings or something like that, but I mean, it's a quality, I guess you'd say, loss if we do lose. Not that we can't win. I'm not saying, I'm going in expecting a loss or anything like that, but I can see this game going either way, and I could see the line being, 3 points or less, really, in either of the team's favor. But it's going to come out to, how do we come out right away? If they come out and punch us in the face, do we kind of, give up? Do we fight back? Or if we can come out and kind of knock a couple shots in, we know we depend a lot more on our perimeter this year than we do on our inside play. Can our inside play neutralize theirs? If they do that, obviously we like our perimeter over theirs. I'll take Joel and Theo and Kenny and Brandon and Jalik and a lot of those guys over what they're going to have starting coming off the bench. So that can we come in, knock down some shots, defend them well, especially interiorly, and get out and run and play college and Carolina basketball. If we could do that, really like our chances. If we come out, we let them dictate the tempo, they knock down some shots, get on a little run. Again, it'll be a good test if we can respond or not, and how our young guys come back and play. So it's great for us to play this kind of game, especially as we get close to ACC play. So we do only have 3 non-conference games left. We have this Tennessee one, the Wofford one on next Wednesday, and then next Saturday, Ohio State as part of the CBS Sports Classic or whatever they call that. And then December 30th, we start ACC play with Wake Forest at home. So let's see, anything else I got written down here about the Tennessee game? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, if you're going, hit me up on Twitter at @alltarheeldan, email at UNCHoopsTalk@gmail.com, or anything else like that. Again, all that stuff is down below. You can find and connect with me on any social media pretty much. And I'd love to meet up with you. Also, as I've said in previous podcasts, I'm going to try to do a vlog of kind of my trip to this game, going to the game, obviously at the game, that kind of stuff. Take pictures of any podcast listeners that that will be there, and get that up. That will go up on my YouTube channel, which this podcast does as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, it'll be right there. Just make sure you're subscribed and you'll see it. If you're not, go over to YouTube and put in, I think you can just put in UNC Hoops Talk. You should be able to find it pretty easily. Would love for you to subscribe there. But if you're listening on a podcast, that's about the only difference is going to be podcasts get up there. I throw up, maybe some highlights. If I get some video of some good highlights or warm-ups or something at the game, I throw those up on YouTube. But if you're there, shoot me a subscription there, and that'll help out and all that good stuff. But that's pretty much the Tennessee game. And then we go on to Wofford. Like I said, next Wednesday, it'll be a 9 p.m. Eastern tip on ESPN2. Kind of our last chance for biscuits in the non-conference. Of course, we could do it against an ACC team this season, but it's a little bit harder once we get into conference play to get over 100 points. And we know that Roy doesn't really push for that. So Obviously should be a big win for us if we're focused. Hopefully we're coming off a good win, and this isn't just kind of a trap game in between a couple of name brand schools like Tennessee and Ohio State, and we don't overlook them like that. We hopefully come out and kind of knock them in the face like we did against Tulane and Western Carolina, and we're kind of off the races, and then we can rest some guys or relax a little bit towards the end, and get some younger guys some more minutes. And like I said, Jalik had a great game. While really Tulane game was good for him, he had a couple of good moments, and then a great game against Western Carolina. So need to keep building on that for some of those young guys. We know that our young bigs need confidence as we keep going into conference play. So hopefully Wofford is that game. And then I will podcast before, but then we have Ohio State December 23rd as part of the CBS Sports Classic. Obviously, we'll be on CBS. It's an afternoon game on that Saturday. And then the following Saturday, we open up league play with Wake Forest at home. So that's actually looking at is a 12 p.m. Eastern tip. So that noon tip, gotta love those. But we'll be all right. We'll get going. It'll be exciting to be into ACC play. I'll podcast again before that Ohio State game, and then obviously probably again before that Wake Forest game. So I guess we'll see how that holiday season goes. I know I will before Ohio State game. We'll see how Christmas and all that stuff goes, how busy I am, if I can get another podcast in before that Wake Forest game. But I'm glad you guys are along for the ride here. Hope you're subscribed wherever you're listening to this, and I hope that you will share it as we go into the holiday season with other Tar Heel fans, whether it's family members, friends, anybody you come in contact with. Would love for you to share the podcast with them, let them know, get more people on board, and like I said, unite Tar Heel Nation even more. But yeah, that's about it. Go subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss that vlog of the Tennessee game. Hopefully I get some good footage, and that should be really fun. And you can let me know if I should do more of that. Obviously, I don't make it to a ton of games, not enough games, that's for sure. But we'll figure something out. But I'm going to quickly check, see if we got any questions here on the live stream. Like I said, I've been live streaming on Periscope. Haven't seen any comments there. And then also live streaming on YouTube if you ever wanted to watch me do the podcast live. We got Lucian Mincy. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It says go Heels. And then he says he has ACC experience. He'll be fine. I think that's probably Cam Johnson. He will be all right, but it'll be interesting with the chemistry of kind of bringing Cam Johnson back. A lot of people talking about should he start right away? Should he be coming off the bench? And obviously most people saying, with Kenny playing as well as he is, he needs to come off the bench, be in that second group with Jalik Felton, give us kind of the scoring boost off there. Grant Bowden, him and his family are going through Tar Heel withdrawals, bring on Sunday. It's true. Like, we had so many games so close together with the Thanksgiving tournament, and then we had, coming back from the PK 80, we had, we played Michigan on like Tuesday, and we played Friday and Saturday, or Sunday. There was just a ton of games, and now it's only 11 days in between games, but it just seems so long ago that we played Western Carolina, and we still got a couple of days left until the Tennessee game. So I'm with you, Grant, going through some withdrawals here. I really haven't even watched that much basketball because the Heels haven't been on, and it's just like, there's nothing to watch or whatever. So Grant's also wondering my thoughts on Brandon Robinson. Do you think he'll ever be a starter for the Tar Heels? I mean, I think he can start. I think more importantly, I think he can give us quality minutes and be a quality player for us. If he starts, I think it's more because Roy starts those upperclassmen and the experience over some of those younger guys. But to really think of him as a starter is hard for me. He's just so skinny. He's pretty raw yet. I mean, he's like Theo. He's a sophomore now. And he's still thinking of Theo as a freshman, making some poor decisions. And I know Theo made some as a sophomore as well. Guys we've seen it. Roy has developed guys have put in the work. We think of Luke May. We think of Joel Berry getting better, Marcus Page, Bryce Johnson. So many examples of guys getting so much better over the years for Roy Williams that I'm not going to put it past him. He can do it if he puts in the work and earns it. He could be a starter, but I don't think he's going to be a big, if he does, it's going to be kind of like Theo. We think about him after Joel. We think of him after Luke now. We even think of him probably after Kenny. And, when Cam Johnson comes back and stuff. So he's going to be that third, fourth kind of guy. If he is starting, I don't see him getting into kind of a senior leadership like Joel Berry, or even into the spark or instant offense that kind of Kenny can be when he hits like 3-4 threes in a row. So yeah, I think he can start. I think it's gonna be more because he's a upperclassman senior if he does. But hey, hopefully he proves me wrong. He has shown good flashes. I just don't know if there's like obviously Jalik has as well. I think Jalik has just shown more flashes, and obviously has more talent. I think we see a lot more talent in Jalik than we do in Brandon. So again, hopefully he proves me wrong. Hopefully he goes and gets it, and hopefully he's all ACC player by his senior year. I don't know. So looks like that's all the questions and comments I got here right now. It's all I got on my list here to talk about. A little bit shorter, but get us ready for that Tennessee game and going into ACC play. Thanks again for joining. This is Dan DeWitt, your host of the UNC Hoops Talk podcast, signing off. Until next week, go Heels.